Everybody get down. Shots go off. Shots go off. Everybody get down.
At the top right of the map, we have our Zerg player for the TSL team. He lost 2 games already. He only won against Bomber. Now he's up against another Terran player. The Zerg is called
TSL HyuN.
TSL HyuN. He had different plans today. Was really confident coming into this up and down group. Right now he is looking at a situation that if he loses another map, he'll be out. He will be in Code A. To the bottom left, we have his opponent. Losing 2 games already. It is the Terran for NS Hosa. It is
NS jjakji.
jjakji, GSL champion. And that's the shiny badge you see above the NS Hosa logo there.
Yeah, but that's the only thing that he could show off today.
Yeah, so far so not good.
Yeah, he lost to Bomber, he lost to Keen. He lost TVTs. So against Zerg, that's something where he shines. TVT is the matchup where he kind of struggles, historically speaking. That's definitely something that has not been his best matchup. But against Zerg, he's pretty good. That's also the matchup that he won when he took the GSL championship, when he had to face Linok.
He's been struggling under pressure a little bit in some of his matches. In this case, he's going to be going for Command Center first once more. Getting it very early, and this is exactly what HyuN wants to scout, so he can determine whether or not he wants to go double hatch before pool. But unfortunately, on a map of this size, he's not able to do so. Decides to get the pool just to be safe, which in a situation where if you're 1 game away from losing, I really respect. And wow, look at that gas.
That is really...
that's a 3-minute gas.
A really, really early gas, exactly.
Especially for a map like this one, where you know, attacks are going to take much longer to get across the map. Of course, Hellion play can be quite good, and because the map is bigger, your lings will have the better mobility, but I'm feeling aggression is quite likely here.
And of course, the one thing that... Oh, he actually gets in the main base. I actually thought for a second it was already close, but now the gas timing is not longer a secret to HyuN.
Yeah, he's basically got this all figured out right now. Everything... he has all the cards in this game, all the scouting information, and jjakji has none.
I don't even know why I thought that there was a closed wall. Can't you completely wall off with the 3 buildings that he had?
Yes, but he didn't make the command center part of the wall at all. He made it to the left of it for some reason.
Well, he wants to have the wall later on, but if he really wants to hide this early gas, then it's definitely something that he should have considered. Now we have the factory already being built.
Yeah.
Very early in the game. And of course, at this point, to the top right, HyuN being on 2 bases, he has speed once again lined up. And is still, he's not mining any gas at all. Pulled out every single, 1 drone's left.
Yeah, you tricked me with that earlier. He's tricky like that, man.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Tricky 1 Zerg in this group. Reactor coming out for jjakji, of course. This is just totally standard follow-up. Gonna get the Hellions out. SCV walks right into that.
The question is, of course, what exactly HyuN is going to do.
Yeah.
On Entombed Valley, he decided to go for this roach attack. I think that would be way better for this matchup right now. I mean, the problem is that the bases are, of course, cross-positioned, so it would take ages. But if you have a look at what exactly jjakji is doing here with the Hellions and with the 3rd base, if HyuN would do the same build on this map, he would actually succeed.
Yeah, you would just take a builder win, essentially, with that. Obviously, there are ways to hold with this type of situation, but jjakji would have to really,
he would at least do a lot of damage.
He would, yeah. That's certainly true. Now,
and there's actually the Roach Worm. He might do it again.
Pulled the drones back in. No second gas this time, though. We saw him get a faster second gas last time.
It's getting
3rd base.
Yeah, it's getting additional drones and the 3rd base. This is exactly the same timing and the same building order that he built the last game when he was facing Keen. So a little bit of a bigger map though, so the distance between the 2 bases is gigantic. Does he really go for an aggressive roach build again? It would be a little bit weird.
It would be weird, man. It's possible he just makes 3 roaches to defend Hellions, and then it goes for a faster lair tech with that gas that he's been building. But he would have started the lair by now, I feel, if that was going to be the case. And 6 roaches. This is going to be the last thing jjakji expects, but how much damage it could be, it can do is not yet to be seen.
He's sticking with the 6. He's not getting... Yeah, there they are. 2 more. Usually with this push you go for 9 to 10 if you really try to pull these roaches off. The timing that was used when the strategy first evolved was a little bit earlier in the game, but right now he has of course a roach count that he can really rely upon. But one of the problems that we have is that jjakji, even though he went for this build and we talked about how HyuN's strategy would do so much more damage, it's actually true, but the problem is that he has Marauders now already.
Yeah, he does actually have 1 Marauder out. And
it's only 1 though, yeah.
And he could continue to produce more, but that's something he's chosen not to do. Knowing about the roaches will just make him produce more, and he does.
Exactly. Now he goes for the additional Marauder. Stim, of course, won't be done, but he knows that he needs that he needs additional bunkers, and he needs the SCV pull.
Yes, he does. He certainly will, but I think he'll be fine against this pressure by HyuN, who is droning up insanely behind this. 11 drones in production. HyuN's being repaired here. He's getting ready for the push. And when push comes to shove, man, Marauders in a bunker against roaches are pretty safe.
Yeah, a simple roach push is not roach baneling. So what we said earlier, I mean, with early aggression, HyuN might have been able to do more damage if he goes for a roach and baneling composition, but the roach push alone just doesn't do the trick because jjakji was going for the Marauders immediately and saw it build the bunkers as well, so he's safe against this. A pretty cool build, actually. I mean, he gets all these... With the earlier gas, he gets a little bit of faster HyuNs out, he gets good scouts out, then he has the gas available to get immediately the add-on for his barracks and start his Marauders. This build is actually like really safe, whereas he's getting a lot of economy early on. That's pretty cool.
A big stim here, but the roaches are on hold position actually, so they weren't able to do all their damage, and they were not attacked at first, so he will kill all of these. He actually stims again in order to do so. But
yes, the medivac's nearly out.
Yeah,
so
this is a good trade for him.
This is actually a pretty incredible build by jjakji. I love it.
That roach is pretty scary. That's the scariest roach of all.
I mean, this is really strong. Think about it. We have 3 bases now suddenly for jjakji. He has combat shield nearly done. He has stim. He just killed all these roaches. He was able to fend off the attack. At the same time, he's already going for... He has every single tech. He has already his first medivacs out. And HyuN counters this with getting 3 additional...
Yeah.
3 additional hatches, and 2 of them are actually macro hatches.
Yep. And this really suits HyuN's style. He wants to have all the larvae be able to make a ton of lings. He's continuing the roach production a little bit J-dongly, as he wants to make sure he has enough units to hold a pressure like this. But this is all the upgrades lining up at once. +1 is done, plus 10 hit points with the shields are done, combat shields as they're normally called. And the medevacs, the first 2 medevacs joining the army. This is a scary push that jjakji is setting out, but there are 19 roaches on the map with 17 lings to support.
And here comes the Bio army moving in, trying to take down the queens, but HyuN, as you already mentioned, has a lot of units available. He doesn't have a baneling nest, so he can't really get banelings, but still, the roach and zergling composition that we saw from Jaedong already is something that is really working in this situation. jjakji, on the other hand, transitions into siege tanks, and look at those upgrades. This build is awesome. +2/+2 is already being researched. He is so fast with everything.
Yeah. He's just gliding along with this build. The strength of this build, though, is not on this map. It's too far. jjakji has so much time that he has to take to get across the map that gives HyuN time to prepare. Now he's ahead 60 supply. He has an insane amount of production, great economy, and jjakji, even though his build is great, he cannot hold his 3rd base right now. He's going to have to sit back and wait for the push to come.
And his siege tank timing might not be there in time.
Oh my god. No, I think it's barely going to go.
He didn't lift the supply depot.
No, he does not hesitate to come in here with the roaches. HyuN may just kill him right now.
Why didn't he lift the supply depot? There was this one line of defense that he had, and to buy himself some time for the siege mode to be completed. But now jjakji lost a fair amount of units here. He lost 20 harvesters.
And the rest of the lings have rallied across the map. HyuN decides to turn around, though. He took the trade when it was worth it. And meanwhile, we have a small little drop get cleaned up. Oh, 1 hit. No.
That was close, though. Very close. Now +2/+2 nearly done, and now he has the siege mode, but jjakji could have gotten out of this a little bit better than he actually did by just lifting those supply depots. HyuN lost a fair amount of resources, though. The income is what concerns jjakji probably the most right now, because he doesn't have the 3rd, which is one of the problems that you have on this map, and we have HyuN now on 4 bases. And with jjakji not being able to secure his 3rd base, if HyuN is actually continuing to deny the 3rd, then he will be in such a great position economically that jjakji's build can be as good as it might be, but it's not going to be enough. He
It's
needs
not.
the third.
He does, and he does finally land it, but he needs more than a third. He needs a victory and a small fight, and that's not something HyuN is going to allow him with. Baneling Nest is about to complete. He will clean up this drop, but HyuN is starting to build a bank at 14 minutes and 50 seconds here, and his hive has started.
What did jjakji just do? He had the units and he stimmed them instead of loading them into the medevac.
That is a question that has the same answer as not the depots.
42.
Well, no.
Yeah, 42.
No.
Here comes the big attack, and those bunkers are nearly gone, but HyuN is losing a lot here. He needs to be a little bit more careful. This is really not cost efficient. He can pull it off because he has the better economy, but he needs to transition out of it, and he does it, because if he plays another game where he just runs wave after wave against his opponent's defenses, he will at some point fear the threat of running out of steam.
Yeah. The dropship to the north is going to force a cancel on a hatchery because his units are not close enough to defend, and the upgrades for jjakji are just too good. So he will actually get this hatch, oddly enough bringing a HyuN in that drop. He's defending against the harassment so far as well, but the second wave coming from the other side is something he's not 100% prepared for. No baneling speed here, so once these roaches fall, as long as he pulls back, he should be okay, but he does not pull back.
Most of those banelings die to the siege tank fire nonetheless,
This
but
is
here
not-
comes HyuN and breaks through.
This is just not that cost efficient for him, though. jjakji, he lost a lot, but the key here is that the map is so big that jjakji cannot counterattack. HyuN's going to have so much production. He's still getting his Career Spire. A lot of energy on jjakji's orbitals as well. I'm counting 175 on one, another one at 173. Needs to be using that energy on his orbitals. The other one that I didn't mention has 125. And so he's not quite hitting all his mules right now, and he's not quite able to produce the way that HyuN is, who's got all the macro hatcheries. He's hitting his larva injects.
He was also a little bit slower with the second attack, with the second armor upgrade. Well, the third actually, that is. So this gave HyuN the opportunity to catch up in upgrades. And the tech now with the Greater Spire halfway done is on a good way for HyuN, who once again sends units across the map. Takes another base at the bottom right now, even hiding it a little bit. jjakji is not playing bad so far, but this is definitely a little bit troublesome for the Terran player right now, as once again we have the Fungals, we have the Zerglings, the third base being attacked.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this is not looking good for jjakji.
But HyuN is very light on supply right now. His hatchery did get killed by a drop of jjakji right now. His infestors escape. This is so critical because those units cost a lot of gas. He's able to save that. That means more gas for broodlords and corruptors, which is exactly what he wants to remax in right now.
A base to the third has, so to the right side of the map had to be cancelled. It was actually the fifth base.
Yeah,
for
he
HyuN.
even killed it with a drop. So he did not get those minerals back, but with 1100 in the bank right now, it's really starting to show how long he's had these extra bases, how many times he's forced jjakji to lift that command center.
Right now, the income, as you can see, is way better for jjakji, thanks to his 11 mules that he called down. This is quite a lot. I mean, that fourth base is really saturated.
It's really saturated.
It's a little bit crazy.
That was quite crazy.
Right now, we have the Broodlords being built, and jjakji has no idea what's coming. He has one Viking on the map that was designed to take down Overlords. That's all there's to it. So if HyuN actually hits this well, then jjakji might have the same supply, but if he doesn't have an answer to the Broodlords, is gonna be out of luck. There's already 8 Broodlords morphing, another base at the bottom right into the top left being built. And this is gonna be really scary, especially since jjakji doesn't build anything.
It's true. One thing I will say about jjakji is he's got the minivacs always floating in vision of these hatcheries, and the second they're made, he just kills them. And HyuN has not hit all his cancels on these, so he's lost a fair amount of resource with that. But just having 2 medevacs in position to force cancels is great when you know your opponent's army's out of position. The creep spread for HyuN, I think there's only one word to describe it right now. It's linear. It's only going in one direction, and it's going straight to the map with only one active tumor at a time. That's something that could be a lot better here as well. The one Viking that you mentioned earlier actually will not beat the Corruptor, will it? Oh,
there's
wow.
a Fungal as well, but look at the transition for jjakji. Double starport immediately and the Vikings, but it's too late.
It's too late. He's sieged up here. I mean, how is he going to be able to deal with this army that has so many Fungals to back it up? He's just, he has no answer. He has no way. There's so many Banelings down there as well.
He needs to keep out the siege tank range, though. That's the problem that he has. If the infestors get into the range of the siege tank, that's the problem. But the Fungal is good. and he cannot connect with the Brood Lord. jjakji drops in supply, and still HyuN did not use his ground army.
He threw away his Corruptors, though. He was not very careful with those. The Vikings will start to pick away at these units as long as they stay out of fungal range, but will it matter with all these Banelings rolling in? Uses them on siege tanks, though.
He needs to be a little bit more careful. HyuN, that is, he gets a lot of Banelings here, and jjakji, of course, is really pressured, loses his space, but HyuN needs to be careful that he doesn't lose his entire army. On the other hand, well,
it's starting to look like
2,500 minerals, so...
Yeah, it's starting to look like he's not going to be able to kill these Brood Lords, although another Viking wave comes through.
I mean, even if he kills the Brood Lords, the problem is there is just too much economy for HyuN. He can send wave after wave in there. I don't think that's going to be really... He doesn't have to be cost efficient. It doesn't really matter to him at this point. If he takes down the base to the left side of the map, then I don't think that there's anything that jjakji can do in order to recover. Now the Banelings even moving into the natural. The Brood Lords are still going strong. There is just way too much for HyuN.
Way too much indeed. A ton of Banelings morphing right at his doorstep, and jjakji's going to find himself 0-3 in this group. The GSL champion being taken out by the TSL Zerg here, and HyuN will have a chance in this group. jjakji's days are over, though, in this up and down match. Well, I should say day, because there's only one day that he's in here, but the Banelings are killing his production facilities. Camped by investors, landed Viking, not going to be of too much use.
Right now, this is GG. No more words needed as HyuN takes down jjakji. Former now up against Keen. This is going to be our next map. And let me have a quick look at this. It is actually... If Bomber wins the next game, the group's over. If Bomber wins the next game, he is 3-1. Mana, even if he loses, would be tied with HyuN and Keen, two players that he beat both. Both beat, exactly. So if Bomber wins the next game, if Bomber wins against Keen, then Bomber is the first in the group and Mana will be the second.
And if Keen wins?
If Keen wins, then Mana, HyuN, and Keen. Then Bomber, HyuN, and Mana are tied. And HyuN won against Bomber. Bomber won against Mana. And Mana won against HyuN. So then we have a three-way tie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Caldor is working as well as usual. No group situation is too much for Caldor. He knows them all.
Well, that was pretty easy this time. It'll be interesting when we have the
six people groups when
exactly.
Everybody who wants to watch actually watches from like day to night or from night to day.
Yeah. But right now, that's definitely the case. The next game, Bomber against Keen, and this game is already could decide the entire group. If Bomber takes it, then he is first in the group, and because Mana was able to take down Keen and HyuN, he would be the second, even though he's tied with both of them. If it's the other way around and Keen takes out Bomber, then we have Keen advancing in the group, but we have a three-way tie between Bomber, Mana, and HyuN.
Yes.
So Cloud Kingdom is going to be the map for this TBT.
It is, and this is a map where, I mean, all sorts of plays are possible. TBT is, I think, one of the matchups where obviously some maps are better than mech. Or, some maps are better for mech and some maps are better for marine tank. But in the case where you have openings, all maps can use all openings. Yes, sometimes a map is bigger, so it's hard to get your Banshee there in time. But you still can use Banshees. You can Reaper expand. You can even proxy barracks. There's nothing left to chance.
Bomber jumps into the lobby and is like, GG, GL, let's go. He's like, I want to start it now. And then he suddenly starts with a chit-chat and he's like, yeah, hi guys, by the way.
He's like, I just want to take this.
Yeah.
Up and down match is over.
The StarTale player certainly wants to get things started. We have a Terran versus Terran. And to the left side, it is Bomber. 2 wins, 1 loss. He won against Mana, he won against jjakji, but he lost to HyuN. His opponent is MVP Keen with a loss to Mana, but 2 wins as well. Took down jjakji, who's a little bit one guy that was beaten by everyone so far. And of course also Keen with another win. He was able to take down the Zerg player. who's really hoping that that Keen is going to make it now.
He's hoping indeed. The countdown is finished. We are in the game. This is Keen against Bomber. Bomber 1 win away from Kodas for season number 4 of 2012, cast by Caldor and Wolf.